introduce you to this creator, freelancer, and artist, Franklin Williams. He's a Dallas-based photographer and videographer and a digital marketing strategist and expert at One Community Church. He puts his all in everything that he does and helps everyone on his path, whether it's about art and their creativity or their life. Let's learn more about Franklin now. Hello.
What's going on? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am doing fantastic.
So the first question I'm going to ask you is, when and why did business, you being photographer, and later being social media digital marketing expert start, and why?
When I got to college, I thought I was going to study business, but I could not get past an accounting class to save my life. And I was walking through our quads area, and I saw one of my friends from my hometown who was actually going to the same college as me. And she was studying graphic design. I was like, man, I didn't know that was a major. Like, I didn't know that you could do that. Literally, I did not know that I could do that. So what I ended up doing is I literally left the quad that day because I had just dropped the class. I literally was walking from dropping the class, saw her in the quad with her laptop. She had like a 22-inch MacBook Pro. And and like I was like, bro, like this is cool. This is really cool. Like, show me where I can do this. She said, oh, just go to the art building. And she literally just pointed in a direction. I left from dropping the class, walked over to the art building, walked around the art building for maybe like 10 or 15 minutes. In Sydney, I left the art building, walked back over to the comptroller's office, and changed my major to graphic
Oh
design.
my
All
gosh.
in the same day. And from there, that's whenever my life just like completely like 100%. It changed back to the course that I should have been going in the first place. And like it just got better from there. Because I was failing out of school. Like I was like, it was getting close to where I was actually about to have to either take a semester off or I needed to rethink my life. I take this black and white photography class under Peter, one of the professors there. It was film photography class. It had a dark room downstairs. It was clean. It was so dope. I loved it. Like I really wish that I like knew where I should probably do some research on where I can find one out here, or like a dark room area or someone that processes black and white film so I can get back into shooting. But I took that class and I paired up with one of my friends, Trong Nguyen, and my frat brother Marcel, who were like really into photography at the time, and they still are. And I just learned from them. I just kept shooting after that elective. I just kept shooting, kept shooting, kept shooting. And then I graduated 2009 from Louisiana Tech University. Go Dogs. Um, and I moved to Dallas and I started working at Bank of America. Like, of all places, I started working at Bank of America. But the only reason why I did that is because I needed to get out of Haynesville. Like, I graduated and I moved back to my hometown. I was substitute teaching, and like the kids were killing me. Like, they all knew me as Frank out in the street, but they knew me as Mr. Williams at school. So it was just like this very weird balance because a lot of them I grew up with, and I was teaching these high school kids. So like it's weird, right? So I started working at Bank of America November 23rd, 2009, and it was a great experience. I started making a lot of money. I started learning a lot about business, a lot about mortgage, but it was not hitting home for what I went to school for. And I got into a coaching role there, which was like scratching my teaching itch because I like to teach people how to do things. Uh, and fast forward to 2013, man, it just got to the point where they start laying people off, and like the mortgage industry started going back from default prevention over to like sales. I was like, yep, that's not me. I need to find another job quick, fast, in a hurry. I need to get out of here before they demote me or lay me off. I need to go. So I call my cousin, who I love him to death. He's like, and he puts in a word for me at his financial firm that I was interested in actually learning how to do financial advisory work.
Okay.
And I get there, and it's nothing but me in a room, and all I'm doing is studying all day for this test. I'm getting paid though, but all I'm doing is studying for this test. And like it was like being in prison. I learned a lot, but it was like I'm like in this room locked in it by myself all day long, in a computer and watching these tutorials, and I'm like studying literally for 8 hours out of the day. I would leave and walk and go get lunch and walk and get back. Like I'm like, yep, I'm gonna lose my mind. Um, Long story short, I was there for a couple of months, and I took the exam. I failed the exam. I made a 27 out of 100 on this test, and yeah, I got fired.
Wow.
I got fired. But all while all this is going on, I was taking pictures of people, freelance, just like honing in on like how to get better at actually doing it, learning lighting, watching videos, taking clients for free, and designing websites for people, and like really just kind of like making a small name for myself in Dallas as someone that actually did it, just so I can make some money on the side. I never actually put it two and two together to say that, I think I can make a business out of this, right? And my mentor from the bank, his name is Brent Baxter. Um, and crazy thing is that I started helping him learn how to shoot while we were at the bank. He left the bank, and now that's all he does. That's all he does is do videos, and
Wow.
he started his own film business as well. But Brent told me, he said, "Man, you don't have a wife, you don't have any kids. All you have is rent and student loan payments. Like right now would be the time to just like jump off the cliff, man, and just take a chance on yourself."
Yeah.
Uh, I had some money in my 401k. I had some pension money from Bank of America, and I just like drew it all out, paid the penalty on it, and paid my rent for a couple of months and started.
Tell me what went through your mind though when you just said, when Brent told you that like now is the time to just, jump off the cliff and like risk it. Did you talk to anybody besides him? Did you talk to your parents? Or did you just
Oh no, absolutely not. I didn't talk to my parents. Did not. Like funny thing is that whenever I bought my first digital camera in college, my mom was so pissed. She was so mad because I took refund money that I got from my student loans and spent over half of it on a camera and a
oh,
memory card and a camera bag. Like I'll never forget it. She said, "Well, Frank, why you buy that? Why you buy that camera with that money? Why did you do that?" And I'm like, well, I thought I could make some money off of doing it. Like I really want to learn how to do it, and it will help me with my schoolwork. Uh, but like I made like she don't know. I think she knows it now. But after I bought the camera, like I did a couple of shoots for some students around school, and I made all the money back within like 3 or 4 months. But yeah, the thought process though, like going back to your original question, was scary, like 100%. Like not even on some like I'm afraid, more or less, because I think about the what ifs and not really knowing what to do if something goes wrong. Like I'm not from here. I'm from a small town in Louisiana. I got a couple family members out here, but not a lot to where you're like, uh I can go back and live with them, because that's what I did when I first moved out here. I lived with my aunt and my uncle, and I told myself that I'm not going back to living with my aunt and uncle. They already did so much for me. Like, why would I do that and go back? Right. So it was one of those like, I'm going to do this for, I'm going to do this for 2.5 months. And if it don't work out in 2.5 months, I'm going to make a couple of phone calls and I'll get a job.
so did you have a support system or was it just you and Brent?
No. So Chastity and I had actually not just started dating. I think we had been together, this is 2013. We had been together for 2 years at this point, dating. And like, I tell her all the time, I said, you got the ring whenever you bought that strobe for me. Cause like she was working somewhere, I can't remember where Chastity was working at the time, but I told her, I said, man, I need a light, but I can't just buy one. And she said, no, I'll buy the other one. So she paid for one of my strobes. And I was like, oh yeah, no, like I didn't propose right then, but like in my head, I was like, no, no, she here to stay. I don't care what happens. If she threatened to leave, I'll go buy a ring then. But like she definitely here to stay. Like I knew it, because she had already like posed a lot of interest in what it is that I was doing. She enjoyed being around whenever I did the shoots. She would always like do like like in-house modeling for me so I could practice. So it was cool. Like I love my baby to death, because if really and truly, like if it hadn't have been for her, I don't think I would have been able to continue to seek, practice as much as I was practicing, think about it as much as I was thinking about it, because she was there being super supportive of actually me actually doing it. Um, and yeah, she still do the same thing now.
What brought you to the church and doing the digital marketing for the church?
Oh man, so that's a very interesting story as well. Maybe business slowed down, or I just started, like, honestly, you make time for what you want to make time for. So I started putting in more time to actually help with certain stuff. And I think I came and shot. I joined the photography team as well. So like I was on the photography team, I was on the digital print team. So I did both. And then I literally start shooting, sending photos in, and then Crystal would hit me up. She said, "Hey, you do videos, right?" I said, "Yeah, I do videos." And she said, "Can you come and shoot this on this night? Do you have time to do it? Or can you come and shoot this service?" And I would come and do it, and I would turn in like a finished product. Like I would put something together for it. And she was like, she would say, "Hey, we need you to come back and do that." So it just got to the point to where I think Pastor asked who was doing the videos. I don't really know how the story goes. So I don't want to put words on Pastor and say that he said it, but someone asked, and I said, like they said, yeah, this guy Frank. So time progresses, because I think this is may have been I think this may have been like mid 2018 whenever the question was asked, where the church turned 10, right?
Okay, yeah.
And Crystal asked me if I could come and film it to make a recap video for it, and I did. And then after that, I think that was whenever Pastor was like, "Hey, we need to get him to come in and see if he's interested in doing something like part time, or if we can get him to do volunteer more often." So I did, and part time just became a part of full. Like part time became full time. But yeah, that's how that happened. The digital, like, social media part is, we're millennials, so we grew up with social media. Social media has been a part of, like, basically our lives since Facebook came out in 2005. Well, since Facebook went like to everywhere in 2005, it was around in 2004. Uh, but while in the middle of my freelance phase, I met these two guys through a networking group named Christian and Aaron, and they started a digital marketing firm in Allen, Texas, called Bit Branding. And these two dudes are probably some of the smartest cats that I've ever met when it came to actually understanding graphic design and marketing. So I worked for them for, I want to say, almost a year, like 8 or 9 months. Like I just went ahead and start like working specifically for them. Um, they worked out a budget for me, and I went and worked for them. They wanted to bring me on like more permanent, but I wasn't in the space of thinking like, hey, this may be the collaboration that actually takes you somewhere else. I didn't really think all the way through. I love those guys to death. Like we still do things together now, but we parted ways. But I learned so much from being around them. Aaron is a marketing guru. He understands data and analytics like nobody else, and he's a crazy good salesman. He definitely is one of the people that if I say, "Hey, how can I write this caption to get like certain amount of sales or this amount of click throughs?" He would be the person I would call. I've actually called and asked him a bunch of things that for things that I wanted to try to do at the church, and he's helped me with that. So that's where my digital marketing background comes from. Is from them, because they gave me they gave me all the references that I needed to like find out where I need to go, things where I need to go, how I need to go, where I need to go, references that I need to search, and things like that. So it's every little thing that I've done has actually gotten me to the point to where I am right now. Like every job that I've taken, every client that I've taken, every person that I've worked for, I've learned something just a little bit and like inched my way into becoming, um, I guess you can say, not a jack of all trades, because I would consider myself a digital expert, if that makes sense. Content expert versus a jack of many trades. You need to be, if you're going to be an expert, like call yourself an expert, I would call myself an expert in that sense. Because there are definitely things that you can always learn about audio. There are things that you can learn about video. There's things that you can learn about photography, graphic design, marketing. But when you couple them all together and you know a lot about all of them all at once, oh, you're an expert. You're an expert at content and marketing, like 100% digital marketing.
Okay, so one last question because we are past 20 minutes.
I'm long-winded, man. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. You're providing like a lot of information that like young artists or even just artists in general, especially during this time, it's like they don't know what next to do. And they're
Right.
probably scared to start because like we're in a pandemic. So why they're gonna start a business? But this is probably a good time to,
This
you
is the
know?
this is the best time. Like,
Yeah.
bro, if I had the freedom, if I had the freedom and the capital to try, like by now we've only been in shelter in place for what, 8, almost 7.5 weeks.
Just about.
Dog, I would have already started and probably failed at probably like 3 or 4 businesses by now. Like
Exactly.
literally, like this is the time to try stuff.
So if you could say something to yourself 5 years ago, what would it be?
5 years ago, if I could tell myself something 5 years ago, that was 2015.
Yep.
Oh man, 2015. I would have told myself to save money,
Mm.
move back in with your save money, move back in with your uncle, and find you 4 partners,
So like for business partners?
4 business partners,
Why?
because you can't do everything yourself. And that's, if I had to say that there was one thing that I could tell my, if there was one thing that I could go back, and that was your question, if there was one thing, um, and I said a bunch, but if I had to narrow it down to that, it would definitely be find some cohesive partnerships. And don't be like, and when it comes to partnership, that means that you really need to put yourself on the back burner and like really put the people that you're working with in front of you at all time. Because, and if you find those people that you can trust, they'll do the same for you. So at the point of y'all of being partners, they're always trying to make sure that you're good while you're trying to make sure that they're good. I continue to be focused on making the quick check versus making the check for the business and paying and allowing the business to pay me. And that's the number one killer of any venture that you're going to do. Like, the money that you make in the business is not yours, bro. It's the business's, and it needs to stay there in order to grow the business. Like, find your finance partner, find you an admin's partner, and find you a sales partner, and find you one other creative partner that will like you allow you to bounce ideas. But those 4 people still need to have like vision. Like, y'all as a starting 5, like you would be like rock stars. Like you definitely need partnerships. Partnerships. It's one thing to network, and it's one thing to have acquaintances, or people that you know in the field. But if you don't have, like, it's one thing for me to know, like, I know probably 8 photographers right off the top of my head that I could call them like, hey bro, you want to collaborate on a gig? But the moment that you're collaborating on the gig and you give him his check or he gives you your check, y'all are done. Like, there's nothing building from that. 5 years, like, go back in time, say, hey, dumb Frank, come here, let me tell you something. Those are some people that you really need to be partnering with. I need you to go and like work on yourself and get yourself back to where you need to be, right? Go talk to them, get back in cahoots, swallow your pride, and then really just like understand the idea behind a partnership, bro.
I appreciate that transparency and vulnerability because I feel like even me too, like I feel like I dropped out of like a couple of partnerships because I was only thinking about me, you know, and I'm
Mm,
here thinking in my room talking about like, wow, this would be so much easier with another person, or even to like another person as well. So, but as you get older though, that's when it hits you, you know, because you're young and like you said, you're prideful, you know, you have an ego, you know, it's like you're just thinking about your
yes,
vision, but there's somebody else out there that has the same vision you do, you know, so.
that's dog. Every single time you will get in your own way. If you're anywhere between the age of 16 and 50, but I'm really talking to like anyone that's still in high school or in college right now, you are in your prime parts of your age, and everything is literally set up for you to win. Everything is digital. Even before COVID-19 and any of the things that are going on right now, if you're listening to this right now in the future, or you're watching this like 5 years from now, this still applies. Everything is set up for you to win. If you allow the time that you are sitting back, playing Fortnite for free, um, outside dribbling a basketball, or just like not really like honing in on a skill that you really want to be like great at, or trying to build that business from home, like you don't want to, you keep thinking about it, you are literally, you're fooling yourself thinking that it's going to happen without you just like actually putting in some work behind getting it done. So I just want to say, like, get up off the couch, like that old college commercial says, and go outside and actually shoot the basketball with intention of actually building up some type of muscle memory to where you have the perfect free throw. Actually work on reading through what it takes to actually build out a business plan if you're literally trying to start a business. Learn how to do Photoshop. Like, doesn't mean necessarily that you need to go to college to actually learn how to use Photoshop. Get on YouTube, fam. um, and if you want to get into the financial industry and you want to be a stockbroker or a financial advisor, literally dive into what it takes to actually be that person. Because there are things that you won't know about just from watching a movie or watching someone on YouTube talk about it. Dive into it, actually be a part of it, and actually give it your all. But the biggest thing is just do it, fam. Like, if you fail, you fail. Then you learn one or two things: that you're not good at it, or that's not really what you want to do, and then you get the chance to pivot to doing something else. Ain't that something? You can, like, you still here, you still alive, you're still young, especially if you're 16 or 17. If you try to start a lemonade stand business and it didn't do well, okay, all right, well, that didn't work. Go to the grocery store, buy some Cokes, and try to sell them for 25 cents a piece. Well, not 25 cents a piece because you'll lose out money, but you know, you get what I'm saying. You need to try to figure out a way to do what it is that you want to do, and actually like figure out what it is that you want to do and just do it. Just try it. Don't sit back and allow time to pass you by, and then you married with 5 kids and then you just like, man, you know, I think I want to start that business today. Nah, bro, nah. That was a 16-year-old dream. You can start a 35-year-old dream with kids dream. Yeah, you can start that, but you can't start that 16-year-old dream now. Like, that's done. You need to like refresh yourself and try to figure something else out. But the key to it is just to do it.